Oh, yeah. Is it Thursday already? We got a fun one today as we are talking about Ahsoka Season 2 leaks. Oh, I love it when there's more Ahsoka Season 2 leaks. We got set photos today from Dathomir. Okay, not actually physically from Dathomir because it's a fictional location, but you know what I mean. Set photos of live action for the first time ever Dathomir, which is going to be so badass. We'll look at the set photos. We'll talk about what it means for the story and all that greatness, this battle for Dathomir, Grand Admiral Thrawn versus the New Republic and all that. We also got to talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer we're getting in just 3 days. Yeah, that's right. 3 days. We are getting a Mandalorian and Grogu trailer, and Maul Shadowlord just got a big old merch drop that gave us our first look, so to speak, at a bunch of characters, a bunch of different characters. So without further ado, we had a lot to get into and not a lot of time. So let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Thursday afternoon? Oh, we got a fun one today. We do have a guest coming on later on in the live stream, brought back due to popular demand from Tuesday's live stream. We do have our Mandalorian and Grogu display behind us now because we are getting hyped up for the trailer on Sunday at the Super Bowl, but we'll talk about that later on as well. I am feeling, a little bit better, but I did bring in Ron just to, help me out because I still sound like I am, not 100%. We'll put it that way, but we will get to that in a second. But these Ahsoka Season 2 leaks, they make me feel better. Let's be honest, I was feeling like crap all week, and then I get Ahsoka Season 2 leaks, and my excitement goes up. I feel better. Star Wars makes me feel better. Doctors, write that down. But before we dive into all the great news that we have today, let's start the stream the only way we know how, by saying hi to everybody in the chat. Shall we? Kyler, how we doing? Samuel in the house. Melissa, what is up? That Dave that loves Star Wars, great name. John Groom, how we doing? Cleve Morris in the house. Brandon Baker, what is up? Fearless, how we doing? A Disney shill. Great name. Disney shill in the chat. That's awesome. Robert, how we doing? Darth Plagueis lives. What is up? Max Rebo in the house. Nathan, what is up? WV Grad, how we doing? All right, if I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little...
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay. So we got to start with the Ahsoka Season 2 leaks. We'll shift over to the Maul stuff because, guys, I found this out today. Maul is in 60 days. Start the countdown. 60 days from today, we have Maul Shadowlord. That's pretty damn wild. So, where we're talking about Dathomir today, which Ahsoka Season 2 leaks are, a lot of Dathomir stuff. When we're talking about Dathomir, Maul Shadowlord might go to Dathomir before Ahsoka Season 2 ever does, because it comes out in 60 days. And Ahsoka Season 2, well, it doesn't have a release date yet, but we'll talk more about that. So, with that, let's start with the the Maul Shadowlord. No, Ahsoka Season 2. My brain's still foggy, okay? I'm still getting over this cold. But let's start with the Ahsoka Season 2 stuff, okay? Jeez, easy for me to say. So first things first, let's start with a look at what we are talking about today. The set photo leaks from Ahsoka Season 2. So this is the big one. We got a ton of different things to look at, concept art, actual images, but this is the big one. This is the big one. And let's get Ron in here. Ron, how we doing? Oh, he's doing great. We can't hear him. That's fantastic. All right, Ron. Well, as Ron figures out how to speak, we'll come back to him.
Oh. All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right.
Oh, but I can hear myself.
I can hear myself too.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
All right, want me to shut this off?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. As much as I love talking, I hate hearing my own voice.
All right,
Is that better?
is that better?
Nope, can still hear myself. I'm muting you, Ron. Sorry. Okay. So this is our set photo leak for Ahsoka. You can tell, and actually, let me pull up the actual post really quickly. Well, Ron fixes that. Yes, brought back popular demand on Tuesday's live stream. Everybody was like, Mike, we loved the two people. And even on Saturday, everybody loved having Jimmy on too. And we will have Jimmy on again at some point. He actually couldn't make it today or even on Tuesday. So we'll have him back on too. You guys seem to like this two people thing. I don't know what. Maybe you're sick of me. I don't know. But, you know, what are you going to do? People like the two people thing, the two people on at the same time. So we'll continue with that until at least I can speak fully. But let's take a look at this. Here we go. Found it. Back to Morai the Messenger. I love the fact that her name is Morai the Messenger. Let me unmute Ron, see if I don't hear myself here. Oh, hello?
Can you hear me?
I still hear myself though.
I don't know what's wrong with that. Hang on.
I don't know either. But you've been muted again. Okay. Morai exclusive. A special one today. Live action Dathomir. Now, this isn't like the biggest surprise ever. We knew that Dathomir was coming eventually. But to me, I didn't think they would go straight to Dathomir. This is going straight into the belly of the beast. This is Thrawn's headquarters. This is the biggest part. I felt like this is where the climax would be. And I don't think that the climax of all this will be in season 2 of Ahsoka. Like, I thought the battle for Dathomir when they fight Thrawn would be in the final movie of a Mando trilogy. Now, maybe that is also where it will take place. Maybe they have a bigger location in mind, like possibly, Coruscant. But to go straight to Dathomir in live action, to go straight to this immediately in Ahsoka Season 2, right after Thrawn got there, means that there's a lot bigger stories to tell further down the line, even than just Ahsoka Season 2. So, live action Dathomir in Ahsoka Season 2. Obviously, this set looks amazing, but most notably are the painted backdrops, a largely bygone film making tool, which wraps around this Dathomir set and several of the other large ones. These backgrounds were used with green screen curtains to either cover or pull away from certain shots. So painted backgrounds were used in place of the volume in many instances through LED wall technology and that's still utilized here and there. So the volume was that 360 green screen room that they use a lot for The Mandalorian, and they still use now for pretty much every project that they make over at ILM. However, the overuse of the volume has become an issue with many Star Wars fans, thinking that the more practical sets look better, because let's be honest, they do. And Andor was the biggest proponent of this. Andor, you went to 1,000,001 different planets, but still you didn't get the feeling you were trapped in a room, like with the volume, like we had a few shots with Kenobi, and in The Mandalorian. But this seems to indicate that they're going to painted backgrounds and using that for, I guess, an LED wall, which is pretty wild. Dave Filoni and his team went all out for this Star Wars for Ahsoka Season 2. Obviously, this image is from set, not a finished frame with VFX, so it's not fully finished. Don't think I need to say that, but y'all know how it goes. So this, of course, is not a finished frame of the show. Oh, we lost Ron completely now. But it's not a fully finished frame of the show, but it is a image from set. So the stuff you're seeing right here in front of us is real, is actually there. Looks, like the vines of Dathomir. And then the background is sort of a painting, I suppose. Oh, Ron's coming back. Hello there.
Can
Aha,
you hear
I
me?
don't hear myself.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Cool.
We did
Sorry
it!
about all that.
That's all right.
Woohoo.
Okay. Well, Ron, this is a set photo from Ahsoka Season 2. Any thoughts?
Unfortunately, I can't see it.
Oh, no.
Just explain it to me, and I'll let you know. I probably have seen it. Which one is it?
It's the one of Dathomir. It's a bunch of vines, like pointy-looking vines, and the painting in the background. It's just live-action Dathomir.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and this is for which series?
Ahsoka Season 2.
Ahsoka. Okay, cool. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I think we're going to get a lot more about the Night Sisters in reference to this with Dathomir. You know, Peridia is where they came from, obviously, and coming back into these waters, just sort of like Ventress was. I think they're going to do a lot of that and bring these sisters back to life for Thrawn and his. I guess are they death? Are we confirmed? Are they Death Troopers? I guess no. Death Troopers are the black ones. So
Yeah,
do we
yeah.
know what these troopers are called that he has brought back to life?
I believe they're just called Night Troopers, but I don't really know if that's like just something we've given them the name of or if that's their actual name.
Okay. Yeah, so I think it's going to be interesting. I think we're going to spend a lot of time here, and I also think that the Maul series is going to have some sort of play into that as well. I don't know if we'll see Dathomir in this first season, but as we go through the years, I think they have a plan for Dathomir in reference to Maul as well.
Yeah, it almost feels like with all these different projects that almost seem unconnected, the connecting piece is Dathomir, is the Night Sisters, is this location, which is really, really cool because Maul takes place, I don't know, 30 years before Ahsoka, or give or take. Like, it takes a place a long time before this show happens, but there's a location, Dathomir, that can connect the two of them, and Night Sisters and specific characters as well, which we'll get to in a little bit. But just plain and simple, getting set photo leaks like this, it's something that we didn't get at all for Mandalorian and Grogu, which we'll talk about, and how they're keeping all that such a secret. It's almost like they're planning all this to leak out because they want people to get excited for Ahsoka Season 2. And because it's so far away, we can't get a trailer. We can't get anything else. So they have to just give us leaked images, very, very small leaked images, because I don't think that this image here specifically would get out unless they wanted us to see it. It's like the concept art that we saw at Star Wars Celebration last year. They gave us so much information with those concept art images, so much Dathomir stuff. And I got these images pulled up right here because, I'm good at my job. But you got here what looks to be Zeb Orrelios, honestly, if you asked me. Zeb Orrelios running on Dathomir with stormtroopers shooting at him. You got these New Republic officers, again, stormtroopers firing at them. Zoom in a little bit on that. You got Thrawn, what it looks to be above a very red-looking planet. Oh, did not mean to do that. Fixed it. Okay. You got, that's enhanced, but, still that. You got Night Sisters here. Enoch and what could be Ezra Bridger, Hera, and Chopper on Dathomir there. Night Sisters. A ton of just Dathomir stuff in the concept art images that we were shown last year. So now to get an actual set photo of live action Dathomir is insanely cool. And it looks enormous. Like, it looks scale wise, we are exploring this planet. Like, we're not just getting one location. We are in some sort of viney forest looking thing. Like, that we're going to experience the entirety of Dathomir, not just one little castle or whatever. Like Peridia. When we go to Peridia, we go to that temple looking thing, or tomb, whatever you want to call it. and then they explore the rest of the place. You see the Noti, or the turtle looking guys. You see the marauders that are also on the planet, and you see the rest of the planet. Statues of Mortis gods and mountaintops in the distance. I think we're going to get a very similar exploration of Dathomir in this second season as well. Now, Ron, and I'm going to ask the chat too. Actually, I want to put a poll in the chat, but do you think, because we're going to Dathomir and because Thrawn's, I guess, resurrecting or waking up, we don't really know, all these Night Sisters, and he's going to have an army of Night Sisters, do you think that will allow us to see familiar faces, for lack of a better word, familiar faces that connect to the planet of Dathomir? What do we think?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think we're going to spend a lot of time on Dathomir, on the our side, not Peridia, on our universe, if so does whatever we want to call it. But I think that we're going to spend a lot of time there getting these Night Sisters back to life, bringing them back to life. Obviously, with those pictures I was able to see them. We'll see Thrawn pick them up, or stay there, and on his ship you see all the red. So obviously he's still there with his ship. So I think we're going to get a lot of that probably in the first couple episodes, and then we'll see Hera and go on in reference to that, where we have those things with Chopper, the picture with Chopper and Hera, where I'm guessing they're going to be on Dathomir as well. Is that what you think? You think they'll be on Dathomir?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big battle, the war in our Star Wars, will take place on Dathomir, on and outside of it. Like, you'll get a space battle with the Chimera, which is Thrawn's flagship, and the Ghost and all that. You'll get a really cool space battle, X-Wings versus TIE fighters, like it always has been. And then you'll get a ground fight, which I think will be a bunch of New Republic soldiers getting absolutely decimated by Night Sister magic. Like, it'll be an all-out war, and it'll be awesome. It'll be like the Battle of Hoth if it took place on a red planet covered in vines. If that makes any sense at all. It'll be a big battle. And as you said, they're going to have to focus a lot of their time in this main galaxy to set up Thrawn, to give us this battle. And they also have to give us Peridia and the Mortis gods and Abeloth and Balin Skull and explain all. It really boggles my mind how they're going to get this all done in 8 episodes. It almost seems impossible, because we're talking about 2 things that could easily be their own seasons. They could have made a show called The Battle of Dathomir and made it 8 episodes. So it'll be very interesting to see how they do that. But we did get a super chat here, and I want to start a poll that is right on line with this super chat. So Darth Plagueis Lives with a very generous $5 holla. I appreciate that quite a bit. Says, do you think we will see Merrin and Asajj Ventress, Night Sisters? Yes. So those 2 are Night Sisters. And that's sort of what I was getting at here. And I have a poll typed up right now. Do you think we will see Cal Kestis and Merrin, because, boyfriend, girlfriend, love, greatness, in Ahsoka Season 2, yes or no? I'll put that poll up now. But, Ron, I'll ask you and the chat. Asajj Ventress and Merrin are both Night Sisters. Asajj actually... Oh, we lost Ron. He does not want to answer that question. But both are Night Sisters, but Asajj specifically, in a show called Ahsoka, has a relationship with Ahsoka Tano. So wouldn't it be likely that she would appear in a Season 2? When it comes to Cal Kestis, the big question mark would be the 3rd installment of the Jedi games. Would it, I guess, spoil that? Would it change that? Oh, fixed it. Okay. Would it spoil that? Would it fix? Would it change the way that the 3rd game would perform? I don't know. What? Ron is coming and going. He's like Ahsoka Tano. dying and coming back to life left and right. Okay. Do we think we will see other Night Sisters? Familiar Night Sisters. Marin, Asajj Ventress, or if I'm blanking on another one, I don't know. What do we think? And Cal Kestis, too, because he would be there if Marin is there. Thoughts? Here's the thing. If you're going to a location like this, which, by the way, Ezra has been there, so the fact that Ezra is in the main galaxy again, he is probably the only one who, I guess, kind of knows his way around, you know, like not actually knows his way around, but kind of knows his way around type deal. Like, it's possible that he could find his way, so to speak. But Cal Kestis, of any living character that's not a bad guy, because Asajj Ventress, he would be the guy who could help them find their way around on Dathomir. Because in the 2 games, Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order, you can explore Dathomir as Cal Kestis in both games. So, I don't know. What do you think, Ron? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you guys hear me now?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
What do you think about the chances of Cal Kestis and Marin specifically being in Ahsoka Season 2? Just because if you're going to Dathomir, the person in the galaxy who knows it the most that would be willing to help the New Republic would be Cal Kestis.
I think there's a good possibility, especially as we go through this year, where depending on who we see in Maul and who we see in Mandalorian and Grogu, I think it's a good possibility because the game was so big. Cal Kestis is such a part of the Star Wars universe now, which I think is great, and I think Marin, obviously being from there, we're gonna see them eventually, and I would say 50-50. I think we definitely could get, you know, Cameron in there, as you know, as we know, a lot of people lie, a lot of people, and not to be negative in lying, but they can't give stuff away.
Yeah.
You know, so it's funny. I actually saw a quick thing on Chris Bartlett today. He was on another podcast, and the guy was like, "So, can you tell us about Ahsoka?" And you know, and he was like, "All right, I gotta go." You know, he didn't even want to talk about it. So
Yeah.
there's so many things, as we've seen and you've talked about on this channel, and we've talked about on ours, where, you know, Tamara Morrison and some of these other actors are just saying, "No, I'm not here," or "I haven't gotten a call yet," or things like that. So we haven't seen anything from Cameron at all recently. Again, he was doing that Tron thing, which I don't even know if it got played or if it got cut, but
Yeah.
I think that he's big enough now, and these games are big enough. And as we get into, you know, the 3rd game, which is probably going to pop up here in the next year or two, I think we're going to see. I think it's a good possibility we see both of them in this, because Thrawn is such a strategist and such an intelligent warrior that just who he has, or you know, who's in the universe on this side, not Peridia. There's not a lot of, you know, there's no more Jedi, you
Yeah.
know, except for Ezra, and that's it. So you have to bring in some heavy hitters to go against Thrawn, I think, especially with his army. We don't know how big, you know, the good guys are at this point, but we know Thrawn has all these Night Sisters, which are going to have their powers back, and then you also have these Night Troopers that they can conjure up and come back to life as well. So we need a big heavy hitter to help this side of the galaxy fight Thrawn, and I think that Cal Kestis and Marin would definitely be a good add-on to this. And I also think that they might bring some of the other characters in the game over.
Well, yeah. I mean, Marin would be the big one because she's a Night Sister. But I agree with you. I think
Right.
in order to defeat Thrawn, because he's such a genius, he only knows what he knows. He's been gone for the last 11 years. So in those 11 years, the characters who have come to be heroes in the galaxy, who have come to be these main people like Luke, Leia, Han, like a Cal Kestis, he doesn't know about them. He doesn't know of their existence. That's why I think when we talk about who's going to be the one who takes down Thrawn, it's going to be those heroes that we've been most recently introduced to. Your Din Djarins, your Grogus, your Bo-Katans. I guess he may know about the Mandalorians and Bo-Katan, but not what she's doing now that they've reclaimed their home world. He probably last heard that their planet was turned to glass. So he doesn't know about any of those characters, doesn't know that Boba Fett is a good guy now. He doesn't know any of that. So the only thing that can hurt Thrawn is what he doesn't know. And that's just the last 11 years that he hasn't been in the galaxy. So the most likely heroes to take him down are these ragtag group of just nobodies who just became relevant in the recent past because Thrawn doesn't know about them, because he's too smart to be outsmarted by somebody like Ahsoka because he knows Ahsoka's master. That, I guess that's my take, and why Cal Kestis will be a good helping point to take down Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think we're gonna see, because Marin is a Night Sister, and so there's not a lot of explanation that we have to do in reference to her being a Night Sister. Most of the people that are going to be watching it know that she is, and even in her looks, obviously. And like I've said before, you can explain that in a sentence or two, or a
Yeah.
conversation, a short conversation, who she is, especially to the normie fans that don't have any idea, what's going on and who some of these characters are. Or they might just be able to not have to worry about the backstory, sort of, so to speak, and give us all of you know, the Jedi games and all of that stuff, where we bring her in, give a little backstory, boom, she's in, he's in, and now we have somebody on our side to fight Thrawn.
Yeah, I agree. And Justin brought up in the chat, does Thrawn even know that the Empire fell? Yeah, I mean he has some informants, like the Shadow Council in Mando season 3 knows about Thrawn, and he knows about them. He knows about Morgan Elsbeth, so she's feeding him information. Like, he does know a little bit of what he's coming back to. He knows the Emperor is gone. He knows he's the only hope, literally. He knows that he's the heir to the Empire. He knows that he's coming back to be the leader. He knows all that, but what he doesn't know is what he doesn't know. And that's Din Djarin, that's Grogu, that's Boba Fett, that's Bo-Katan, that's the Skeleton Crew cast, like those smaller characters that even the Empire or the remnant of doesn't even know about yet. So maybe he has some knowledge of Cal Kestis because he's been messing with stormtroopers for quite some time now, but maybe not. Now, I will bring up another Night Sister because, somebody else brought her up in the chat and she seems to be very relevant in the recent past of Star Wars content, Asajj Ventress. Now, my biggest thing with Asajj is that last year, in 2025, in Tales of the Underworld, they brought her back to life, which is something you don't do with the character unless you have a very bright future for her story in the Star Wars timeline. You're not just going to bring her back to life and then never use her again.
Right.
And they set her up in Tales of the Underworld with an apprentice. They set her up with a future. Now, do you think that future is Ahsoka season 2?
Whew. See, that's the hard thing, because I think that we'll get one or the other. I don't think we'll get all three of them.
Yeah,
I
I
I
agree with
mean,
that.
that would be amazing, and then we could have spin-offs and this and that. Um, but wow, I'm sort of surprised at the end of that poll, which is pretty crazy. Um,
Yeah.
I, with her, I think I would love to see her, and I don't know where we can put her in this. If we bring, I think it could be one or the other, and maybe because of Tails, we have her coming in now, to Ahsoka. So maybe we get Asajj on this side instead of Cal. But I think we'll get Cal and Marin before we would get Asajj in Ahsoka. I don't know where they're going to put Ventress, or not Ahsoka, sorry, yeah, in Ahsoka, but I don't know where they're going to put Ventress at. in any of this stuff. I think we have more of a probability of seeing her in the Maul series.
Interesting. Okay. I would love that. I mean, I'd love to see her in Maul. That would be great. Um, yeah, that would be cool. Keep her in animation. My thing with this is, and by the way, I did end that poll. 61% of you said no. You don't think Cal Kestis and Marin will be in Ahsoka season 2. So I'm very interested to see if you think that Asajj Ventress will be in Ahsoka season 2. I think of the three, or of the two, I guess, Marin versus Asajj for Night Sisters, I think Asajj is the more likely one because the title of the show is Ahsoka. Those two characters have a very big relationship or history together in the Clone Wars. So, although Ahsoka's not in the main galaxy, it would make sense for Asajj to show up in the Ahsoka series. And it's Dathomir. That's where she's from. All the Night Sisters are dead, but she's still alive. And as you mentioned earlier, Tales of the Underworld bringing Asajj back to life the way that it did could be what they're doing with the Night Sisters that Thrawn brought back, and that's sort of how they explained it. But now Asajj has firsthand information about how that's even possible. So to me, I think Asajj Ventress is way more likely just because of her connection to Ahsoka, and she's a Night Sister herself, and she was brought back to life last year for a bigger purpose. I don't see a world where we go the next 5 to 10 years without seeing a live action Asajj Ventress. They've brought over everybody else. Asajj Ventress should be next.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you. I think it would be fantastic. Well, and Fearless brought up a good point too with Jason. Or we but he doesn't have his, and maybe Ezra helps him because I'm guessing the timeline isn't going to be far off from Ahsoka season 1 to Ahsoka season 2. We're probably going to pick right up, with them coming into Dathomir. I don't think we're going to go, oh, well, we've been here for 2 years, bringing the Night Sisters back to life and getting everything situated. I think we'll have more of a uh, short timeline right in between there, and maybe Ezra starts to help Jason maybe towards the end of this season. Maybe he helps him a little bit, but I don't think Jason will have a big enough role, or he won't have enough power to really help them, so to speak. Uh, he's still going to be a kid. He's what, 8, 10, 12 years old maybe. I'm not sure
Yeah,
what his age is, but still, and,
yeah,
and again, now if we go back to the original Jedi training, this he's pretty much too old to even start training. If the Jedi Council was still around, he would probably not be considered to train, at this point. And we don't know if he has or hasn't. I don't think he has. I think they would have said something, or we would know a little bit more about that if he got some training beforehand. But I think he knows he has some powers, obviously, when he senses Ahsoka.
yeah.
But I don't think that he's going to be that big of a help in reference to this universe. Um, that's my opinion on that with him. And yeah,
Well,
you do bring up a good point about Asajj too. Bringing, but I think we're going to see her more in animation before we see her in live action, because I really think if I mean, man, if they kept that a secret and Asajj is live action when Ahsoka comes out,
yeah,
I mean, we still got what, 6, 8, 9 months before we see Ahsoka, and for them to keep that under wraps,
yeah,
that's pretty good. I
yeah,
mean, because baby Grogu, baby Yoda Grogu, when that sort of started to come, it that wasn't a big thing. It wasn't like a major actress coming in to do some scenes. This is a
yeah,
little puppet that they bring out at the end in the little cylinder, and he reaches out to Din, and that's where we see him. So
yeah.
I don't think that's a great secret you could hide, but you could hide that secret, I think, more than you could hiding, Anna Joy Taylor coming in, or somebody else coming in to be a live
Yeah,
action Ventress.
that is true, but they've done this before. I mean, Lucasfilm talked about keeping secrets. Mando season 2, Luke Skywalker, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, Boba Fett. All four of those secrets were kept pretty damn well.
Yeah.
nobody saw Luke Skywalker coming. So I mean, they've done it before. Asajj Ventress being in Ahsoka season 2, if that's true, I hope is kept till the very last second. Like they don't tell us at all in any of the marketing and anything. That should be a surprise. That would be awesome because you can market the hell out of this show without telling us that. We don't need to know. So I hope that's true. And by the way, this poll right now is 50-50, completely
That's
split down the middle.
crazy.
We'll leave it open for now, but that's where we're at. I mean, Asajj Ventress being in this show, not just the fact that we've been talking about Dathomir because of the concept art, and now today because of the set photo leak, but Asajj Ventress is a Night Sister. She is the character that would be not just connected to the title, Ahsoka, but also connected to this location that we are going to in this second season. So I certainly hope so, because Asajj is such a cool character, going from hero to villain to hero to villain to villain to hero to hero to villain, and back and forth. But she was just brought back to life last year in Tales of the Underworld too. Justin
Well,
says, could Devon Izara, who is this Twi'lek apprentice girl in Maul Shadowlord, show up in the Mandoverse if she survives? What do you think of that?
um, hmm.
Well, I'll give you my take first before you go.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Dathomir could be a location scene in Maul Shadowlord, but at some point, this Twi'lek apprentice girl has to go away because by the time of Rebels, Maul is there and he's by himself. He's on Malachor 5 and he's all by himself. Even by the time of Solo, he asks Kira to come be his new apprentice. Not this Twi'lek girl is gone. So we hope that she's our canon version of Darth Talon, but at some point that would mean she'd have to leave Maul. And where does she go? I don't know, but do you think she could pop back up in the Mandoverse?
That's tough because, like you said, that she is away for a while. So does he kill her? You know, and is she gone? And we're and all of our speculations about Talon, go out the window. That's the scary part for me in reference to some of this stuff with the Star Wars universe, where I guess, for lack of better words, we predict, this is going to happen or that's going to happen or this character is going to be that or this actor or actress is going to be this character. And I feel whew, that that would be amazing, but I think it's going to be hard to figure out what we're going to do with her. And I think that if we're going back to Dathomir with Maul, I think that's going to happen in season 2. I think we're going to be on this planet, this new planet with these new characters for this season, especially since it's only 5 weeks. Or yeah, right, 5 weeks, 10 episodes.
Yep.
I think it's going to be interesting to see what we do with this because again, how is she going to get away if Maul is as evil as we know he is, and he brings her on and he does train her, but she just bolts and he doesn't care and he just lets it go,
Yeah.
or does he go try to find her and hunt her down or bring her back? I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to see her as Darth Talon show up, Mia Goth show up as Darth Talon,
Yeah.
next year as one of the bad guys. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see if that plays out from Darth Maul to you know, Starfighter and how she gets there without Maul trying to kill her or her getting away. So I don't
Yeah.
know. That's a hard one for me because I think there's so much more other things that we could see in Maul, and she's going to have to disappear or die. And that's the hard part, I think, because he's not, like you said, he doesn't have her in. I mean, and maybe they do. I mean, we didn't see Palpatine and Maul together all the time. We didn't see, Dooku went off and did his own thing, well, but when Solo comes out, he does say, "You come here to be my apprentice." So
Yeah.
that means, you know, and again, he doesn't have to live by the rule of two.
Yeah, no, not at
technically.
all.
You know,
Yeah.
so maybe he has her going off and doing something, and Kira comes in, and we do still get to see her in Starfighter.
Yeah, that I mean, if that's the way they're gonna go, my thing is, if this is a canon version of Talon, like, that's clearly what they're trying to do here. Maul's apprentice, uh, she's pink, I guess, but a red Twi'lek with tattoos, like, that this is our canon version of Talon, whether she lives or dies. I can't imagine them introducing this character, such an important character, and just killing her off in one season of Maul Shadow Lord in 10 episodes. So at least, I don't know how they'll do it, but somehow, some way, they'll have some sort of falling out. Or maybe she lasts a couple seasons. I don't know. We don't know how many seasons Maul Shadow Lord is going to be. But there's no way that they introduce such an important Legends character and then kill her off right away. So I don't know what her future entails. I don't know if it is all the way in Starfighter post sequels, or if it's in the Mandoverse, like Justin suggests in the chat. But I think there's a bright future for the character. She's just another character like Ahsoka, like Cal Kestis, that isn't in any of the movies, isn't in a lot of the shows. So her lack of being there needs to be explained. And I think Maul Shadow Lord will hopefully give us that explanation. I guess only time will tell when it comes to that character.
Yeah, well,
How
and while while you were talking, I mean, I was thinking, do we, and maybe they're faking us out. Again, this is what they're doing with the whole Mandalorian and Grogu with Embo and
yeah.
Stinky and stuff like that. Are we showing this character, and is there another female, you know, that could be her as well, that we see. Maybe they're just trying to throw us off in these things with Maul, because there has been a lot of talk, about Darth Talon. So I think at some
Yeah.
point that is going to come to fruition, and maybe we're all thinking, maybe we're all looking in the wrong direction, and maybe this little, this little Twi'lek is not who Darth Talon's going to be, and they're going to bring another character in there.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen twins before,
Yeah. That's
obviously,
true.
in
That's
Star
true.
Wars. Yeah, I mean, I know it's a long shot, but it's there's gonna have to, like you said, there's gonna have to be a lot of explanation of because you're gonna piss off some people if you don't have a good explanation, or you have a silly explanation for it. It's going to have to be rooted in there.
Yeah.
And I think with Dave being president and still being in charge of creative control and direction, I think it'll be done right. But yeah, only time will tell what this character is going to bring, to this series, and where her future lies. Are we going to get 3 or 4 seasons with her in it, and then
Yeah.
they explain it to us at the end? Or like you said, is this going to be a first season, maybe the second season, and boom, all of a sudden, you know, she's either, or well, and that's the thing too with Star Wars. Okay, well, she's dead, but maybe she's not dead. Maybe
Possibly.
he leaves her for dead, and somebody, or the dark side in her all of a sudden becomes more powerful, and she maybe not heals herself, but is able to withstand the wounds that she gets,
Yeah.
and she's on, for long, she lives after that.
Yeah. Lucasfilm is very, very smart. They know when they show us a Twi'lek girl in a mall show that we're going to talk about Darth Talon. They're not dumb. They know when they show us that there's going to be Dathomir all up in Ahsoka season 2, and that they give us even these set photo leaks. They know we're talking about Asajj Ventress. They know we're talking about Merrin and Night Sisters that are in the universe still. So whether or not those characters are in there, they're not stupid. Lucasfilm is in the room going, if we have Dathomir in Ahsoka season 2, what does that mean? That
Yeah.
means this character, that character, that character, and that character will all be brought up by fans because they're all Night Sisters or have been to Dathomir. So they do it on purpose. Like they
Yeah.
introduce a Twi'lek apprentice to Darth Maul in the Maul series because they know we're talking about Darth Talon. They know exactly what's happening inside the Star Wars fandom. So to tie it all back, this Dathomir being in live action does 100% connect to Maul, Shadow Lord. The fact that these two come out in the same year is on purpose. And we could be seeing Asajj Ventress in Maul or Ahsoka season 2 or both for all we know. Because that connection is already there and they've shown it to us. Not just in leaked images, but in concept art too, that they showed to us willingly. So even if it's not a leak, the concept art was shown to us on purpose, and they want us to know that Dathomir is in season 2 and a big part of season 2, and that draws the connection to characters like Asajj Ventress. So,
So let me ask you, in the timeline for Ahsoka,
yeah.
where is where is Asajj? Is she the short blonde haired chick at this point, or is
Oh, yeah.
she where? Okay,
So Asajj dies before
right.
the end of the prequels, before the end of the Clone Wars, because she dies to Count Dooku, who dies. His head gets chopped off. But yeah, so she comes back to life shortly after. I mean, she dies, gets brought to Dathomir, and comes back to life. But then she's a part of the hidden path. Maybe she's not. I don't know if we know that for a fact. We know Quinlan is, but I
Yeah.
guess we were shown that she's not with Quinlan anymore, or she can't be. But she has this new apprentice, and then she shows up in the Bad Batch, which must happen after because she doesn't have an apprentice in the Bad Batch. But that all happens in the year after Order 66, after the Empire takes over. So from there on, we have no idea. We don't know where Asajj Ventress is. We don't know. So for the next, it's about, I'd say, 30-ish years, 25 to 30 years from Order 66 until Ahsoka season 2. So in those 25 years, we have no idea where Asajj Ventress is. None. So when she shows up and how she shows up, we don't know, which I think makes it really cool. But I mean, there's such a mystery around that character specifically, but it all ties back to this planet. A planet which, by the way, we haven't really explored much of.
Um, yes and no. I mean, I think we got a decent amount of it in the Clone Wars. I think we're able
Yes.
to, sort of see what goes on in that on that world, with the Night Sisters, with Mother Townsend, So I think that we have a little bit of an idea of what's going on. Obviously, there's a lot of magic there, I guess, so to speak. Sort of like when when we go to, Mustafar, or we go to some of these other planets where they're more, force sensitive, or, the dark side sensitive. So I think we know that that's there because they have the water that they brought Asajj to bring her back to
Yes.
life. So there's that's already there on that planet that we know about, that has some sort of witches or spells, or,
Yeah.
or unnatural, um, you know.
Yeah. Ahsoka season 2 too is going to add a lot of that. Is going to explain a lot of that. The origins of the Night Sisters, and not just that they come from a different galaxy, but how they wield the Force differently with the magic and all that. And it's not just going to be cool to see it in live action, but it's going to be explained. So all of the magic side of Dathomir and these pools of water that can bring people back to life, like that might be so heavily connected to the pools that give Abeloth her powers, that go all the way back to the Mortis gods, that go back to their home world of Peridia in a different galaxy. Like all of that could be explained, why they're so different from the Jedi, why they're so different from the Sith in the way they use the Force. But that all, again, goes back to the one planet. And as you said, we do get a lot of it in the Clone Wars, but they all get massacred in the Clone Wars. We
Right.
don't really get an explanation as to how and why, and just why they're there and how they got there and how they wield the Force that way. That's what I think Ahsoka season 2 will do.
Yeah, and it's going to have to answer those questions as well.
Yeah.
At some point, because we don't know, what has happened since then. But obviously, you know, Maul's on Dathomir at the end of Solo.
Yeah.
So what else is there? What does he have there? Why is, I mean, yes, it's its home planet, but why is he there? Um,
Yeah.
and what army or what, different things does he have on Dathomir to draw him back there to be, I guess, sort of like his home planet again?
Yeah. That's that's true. Well, my thing too is, yes, Thrawn has all the Night Sisters. That's why he goes to Dathomir, to bring them back to life. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Dathomir has to be his. What's funny, Ron? Did I say something funny? God, Jimmy laughed at me too. I don't know what the hell's going on. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that has to be his home base. He could resurrect these Night Sisters and then just leave. He could go somewhere else. Because
True.
as far as we're aware, the Empire doesn't have a base there. They have no presence there. So to us, or to Thrawn, if he's trying to become the heir to the Empire, he'll go somewhere else. He'll go somewhere in the Outer Rim, or to a very fun base that's very close to Dathomir, Mount Tantus. The planet of Wayland, which is where Mount Tantus resides on, is very, very close on the galaxy map. Let's pull up the galaxy map. People like when I pull up the galaxy map, so why not? It's very close in proximity. And the Bad Batch just ended a couple of years ago and gave us Mount Tantus for a purpose. And in Legends, Mount Tantus is Thrawn's base. It's where he creates the clones for his army. It's just where he finds Jorah's Sabaoth. It's a very, very big part of Thrawn's plan. So Dathomir is not a Imperial facility. It's not a base. So he might just be going there to create his army. And, well, we know there's going to be a war there, so he's not going to stay very long. But where does he go from there? I think Mount Tantus is the next location. But let me pull up this star map here. What do you think of that?
Oh, I definitely think they're going to have to bring Mount Tantus into this, and I also think that they're going to have to bring Ad into this as well. I
Yes.
mean, we're talking about planets, and you're going to bring that up now with the map, but everything is sort of right there, for him coming in. So let me ask you this: so the Night Sisters that he got them from Peridia, correct? They're not the ones that died on Dathomir.
Yeah, they're from Peridia.
Okay. So again, so he's bringing them here. He's going to get them in the water. I don't think we'll see too much of that. I think we'll see maybe that start to go on and bring them to life so they can explain that. But for the rest of that, yeah, I think you're right. I think he could go to Tantus. He wants to bring them to life. Maybe he puts them back on the ship with the troopers, and here we go off to Tantus. And I think that could definitely be where we end up at the end. Especially if we're going to do a Ahsoka season 3, or if we're going to do an Ahsoka movie.
Yeah.
And I don't even think we've actually talked about that. Do you think that? And I guess we'll have to see. But do you think they'll have an Ahsoka season 3 or a movie after this season 2?
I think Ahsoka's story is done with season 2. Not that
Okay.
she's going to die, but I think it's going to be over
Maybe
for
like
her.
you said before, she's going to stay on Peridia, keep Abeloth in check, because we don't
Yeah.
see her for the rest of the whatever you want to call it,
Sequels
the
or
rest of the
anything. Yeah.
series.
Yeah, that's I think she's going to find her purpose, which she's been destined to do, why she's been brought back to life so many times, and her connection to the Mortis gods is to protect the whole galaxy from the most evil threat of all time. And that will be what season 2 shows us. I think at the end of season 2, Sabine and Hu Yang will hitch a ride back home, and Ahsoka will be like, I'm supposed to be here, I'm staying here. But, so will there be an Ahsoka season 3? Probably not. I'd say most likely not. But there'll be a continuation of this story. Thrawn's story is not coming to an end in Ahsoka season 2. I am still very much of the mind, because we both think that the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is going to be very successful, that it will be the beginning of a new trilogy. So Thrawn's story will continue in episodes 2 and 3 of that Mando trilogy. But
Gotcha.
so Ahsoka season 3 is no unlikely. Now I did bring up this
Yeah.
galaxy map, so let's take a look at it for a sec here. Dathomir is right here, right there, nice and big, right in the middle of the screen, pretty much right there. As Ron just mentioned, at Aten, the planet from Skeleton Crew, which is now under New Republic rule, I suppose. I don't know how heavily under New Republic rule, but it is under New Republic rule, is right next door. Very, very close in proximity right there. So maybe there's 1,300 vaults? Something like that. Full of
Yeah.
billions upon trillions upon billion trillions of credits, and a mint that can print him as much credits as his heart desires. Right now, the remnant of the Empire doesn't really have an army. They're a remnant. So in order for him to have Star Destroyers and TIE fighters and stormtroopers, he's going to need money. And at Aten would be the place to get that. But as I mentioned before, Dathomir does not have an Imperial base. Neither does at Aten. I don't know if it's the closest one. I haven't really looked around much. But the closest one that would connect to the Heir to the Empire Legends trilogy and to the Bad Batch is right here, Wayland. A big old dot right there. Very close in proximity to Dathomir, just right down that hyperspace lane right there. And right here, that is the planet of Wayland, which has Mount Tantus, the
Oh, okay.
cloning
Yeah,
facility, I
that's
suppose.
definitely close enough for them to head over there when he's done
Yeah.
with Dathomir and at Aten, which I think that'll be interesting. I think with his knowledge, and once he gets the Night Sisters and these troopers all ready for battle, I think that's when he can go in and take at Aten, because I don't think there's going to be the, they're not worried about it. The Republic's not worried about it right now, as we see in Ahsoka season 1. They're all Thrawn, whatever, he's not coming back. So I think they're not going to be prepared where he will be able to easily take it over. And by the time they gather forces or even try to come take it back from him, that's not going to happen. He's going to
Yeah.
either load up his ship with it and and take it and run, or
Yeah.
he's going to take control of that planet and somehow, maybe leave someone from the Shadow Council there, as he comes back. There's so much that has to be to go into all this with the Shadow Council, or the Shadow Council, Thrawn, and the Night Sisters at Aten. So it's going to be interesting to see how we're going to get all of this, brought in together. Is it going to be some sort of scroll, or just something across the top that says, Thrawn has been here. This is what's going on. Will we even see some at Aten stuff, or is that going to be in the description that says, he was here. Now he has all these funds to go make Star Destroyers and new ships and TIE fighters and things like that. So there's definitely a lot of stuff that they're going to have to cover this year to answer questions that have been open-ended questions for a while now.
Absolutely. And to your point, too, at Aten could very well be in Ahsoka season 2. If the New Republic is going to try to, I guess, have an attack on Dathomir, then maybe their first stop is at Aten to sort of, get the gang together and suit up, if you will,
Yeah, I
and
definitely
go to
think that.
Dathomir.
Yeah, I
But that,
definitely, because they're so close too. Even if he doesn't know what's going on, there's going to be some sort of whatever rumor or leak or something that he's like, wait a minute, there's a gazillion dollars in the next planet over here. Let's go check that out. you
yeah,
know?
true. And not even that, though. If we do get at Aten in this Ahsoka season 2, then the kids might be there. Like, we might get those kids in Ahsoka season 2. And that wouldn't be the first time that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have done something like that, where these characters cross over in between Mandoverse shows. I mean, Boba Fett is in Mando first, and then he gets his own show. Or Ahsoka is in Mando first, and then she gets her own show. And characters like Zeb Orrelios are bouncing around this year from the Mando movie to Ahsoka season 2. So I wouldn't be shocked if we got at Aten and a brief cameo from the kids in Ahsoka season 2.
And that would make sense too, because like we've talked about before, if we get a skeleton crew, season two, they're going to be older by the time they do
Yeah,
that. And if they were able to grab these kids as soon as they got off skeleton crew, bring them over, do a few scenes with them for Ahsoka, or I think they could do that very easily and still have the kids look the way they looked when we saw them. Neil's
yeah,
not going to be a full grown, you know, uh, alien at this point, and neither are the kids. And like we've talked about, their kids age a lot faster. They start looking differently a lot faster than when we become adults. So
yeah,
if that is I think that's a great possibility that we could see those kids in a brief cameo, which would be cool. To sort of also to bring them back, keep them sort of alive in our minds, where maybe we could get a season two of Skeleton Crew after this takes place.
yeah. I got
If they go in. Go ahead.
well, I should say I got a crazy theory that just popped into my head. Because Thrawn is such a genius, and we're talking about him possibly going to Wayland, and Wayland is Mount Tantus. Mount Tantus is where, in the Bad Batch, Palpatine used all the resources he could possibly use in that facility with Dr. Hemlock to try to create himself a clone so that he could live forever. Project Necromancer, so it's called. Do you think it's possible that they use Thrawn? Because Thrawn is a fan favorite character. There's no doubt about that. Everybody loves the big blue meanie who knows the guy. Anybody who's heard of him from Legends or read the books or anything loves him. They could use him because they love him to help the sequels. And by doing so, I mean, he goes to Wayland and he is the one who creates Snoke. He's the one who's smart enough to create a being strong enough to wield the Force and control the First Order. Yes, it's still a puppet for Palpatine, but Thrawn's the one who created the body. Imagine that. He's the one who cracks the code because he's a genius. He's supposed to be the genius. He's the one who can crack the code to make Snoke and make it work. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that's a great theory. I think that would be fantastic, and it's not that far fetched because, like you said, you have Thrawn. He was around at the time, and he was high enough. He was a high enough ranking officer. Well, Palpatine was still alive, and you had some of these other guys in the Shadow Council to probably know about this. Correct? He would know
Yeah,
about Necromancer.
yeah.
So if he does, like I said, we go to Dathomir. He gets the Night Sisters, brings them all back to life. He's got his Dark Troopers. They go over and get some money. Now let's go back down to Wayland and to Mount Tannis. I want to see what's still left of this. Where it he could use some money to again finance some of that on Wayland, along with while he's building his army. So yeah, that's a cool theory. I like that for sure, and I think that that's definitely a possibility because he is such the strategist for this galaxy.
It would make sense because eventually we go to the sequels. Eventually, Kylo Ren comes along. But the more important thing, before Kylo even became Kylo, Snoke was ruling the First Order. And it was so powerful that they took over a majority of the galaxy before he even needed Kylo Ren. So, at some point in the next 25 years, that has to happen. Snoke has to come to be, and he has to get all this power, and he has to get all this First Order and an army and all these new Stormtrooper outfits, new TIE Fighter designs, new Star Destroyer designs. All that has to happen at some point. It's going to have to start phasing into the Mandoverse pretty soon for that to actually make sense because it doesn't happen overnight. He has to build up that power, and he has to be around for a while to scare everybody. Luke, Leia, Han, they all know who Snoke is. They're all petrified of him. That has to happen at some point before the sequel trilogy. That means Snoke has to come around sometime soon. And if Thrawn is a fleeting villain, if he's only around for a little bit of time as the heir to the Empire, have him be the one who kickstarts the next guy. kickstarts Snoke in the First Order to make that better for some people. Because if you love Thrawn, he's the guy who made Snoke. He's the guy who started the First Order. That would be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, as we know, we don't see him in the sequels. So obviously something died. So I think that's a great theory because he could get that started, sort of continue to roll with it, and then once we get past that, or if we bring him into the Mando verse for those next two movies of the trilogy that we're hoping for, I,
Yeah.
I think then once he gets that started, he's going to have a few wins, like you've talked about before. He's definitely going to get some wins, but then they can kill him off. And Necromancer has already been started, so now that's put in place, and the First Order has been put in place, and he's done a good enough job that when they kill him off, they can just continue with that, which would be fantastic. Yeah, that would be a great theory.
I mean, at some point, this transition from Empire or remnant of the Empire has to transition to First Order, has to transition to Snoke. And I mean, that time is coming closer and closer and closer. And I think Thrawn should have some say in that or have some, I guess, something to do with that. Now, somebody brought this up earlier in the chat and it's way gone by now. But so shout out to that person. I forgot who it was already. I apologize. But the other big planet that's close in proximity to Wayland and Dathomir, and it kind of makes a nice little triangle here, is Mandalore. So we're just talking about the fact that there is no Imperial facility on Dathomir, so he'll be going to find one. Yes, there's one on Wayland, that is Mount Tantus, but there was also one on Mandalore. Now, it was recently, blown to smithereens, but in Mando Season 3, but that might be all the more reason for Thrawn to go reclaim it. If he can get a win there, and he knows he can get a win there because there's not that many Mandalorians, and he knows he can take them out, then that would be huge for him because the Shadow Council just lost Mandalore. They lost Moff Gideon, they lost Mandalore, they lost a member of their Shadow Council, and not everybody's on board with the Thrawn plan. When Captain Pelion brings up Thrawn in that Shadow Council meeting, they're all like, okay, well, where is Thrawn? Like, we don't even care. He's not even in this galaxy. Like, who cares? So Thrawn is going to have to get a lot of those Shadow Council members on his side. And if he reclaims Mandalore, that would definitely help. And if he reclaims Mandalore, us people who like the good guys, we're doomed because they're going to be killed again. Bo-Katan maybe survives, maybe she doesn't. In the armor maybe survives, maybe she doesn't. But a lot of people would die in that, and it would allow you to show why Din Djarin cares. Because right now, Din Djarin doesn't even know Thrawn. If he saw him in a lineup of 1 million people, he wouldn't know who the big blue meanie is because he hasn't been in the galaxy for 11 years. What does he care? If he retakes his home planet that he just fought for so hard, then he'll care. Like if he kills all of his friends, then he'll care.
Yeah, I like that, and I think that Mandalore will be involved at some point because it is close enough. Like you said, I mean, it's not even as far as Wayland is. I mean, if they go there first, but I
Yeah.
think we they've already addressed that. We've already had Mandalore, turned into a sheet of glass and everybody dies. So I think that will be part of the Mandalorians coming back into the fight. I don't think he'll go and kill a bunch of them again or try to take the planet over or anything like that. But I think that he could do something to just piss them off again and be like, okay, because from what Thrawn has and the intelligence that he has, the good guys are going to have some power behind them, and they really
Yeah.
don't right now. They have some good characters. We have some good, some couple of Jedi here and there, things like that. But you're gonna have to have, and I think that was part of Ahsoka season 2 or Ahsoka season 1, where you know um, they all combine forces, whether they take
Yeah.
their helmets off or not. Now they're all back. The armorer got them all together. They got Bo-Katan to do her thing and bring these clans back together, whatever you want to call them, and that's going to be a big. I think it's going to be a big plus for the good guys to bring them on there. So, and I think I think Din's going to get pissed off at it for another reason. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but it's definitely somebody's gonna die for them to fight, or like you said before, he's gonna die, and everybody else is gonna everybody else is gonna come to his, for his memory. They're gonna go fight this big blue meanie.
You hear that, Chet? Did you hear that? I didn't kill Din Djarin today. I didn't kill Din Djarin today. It was Ron. Oh, it was Ron. Okay. That's fantastic. But to your point, they just won. So like they just reclaimed their world. They just, came together. It would be heartbreaking to see them just lose everything again. But that has kind of been the Mandalorian's MO. Every time something seems to be
True.
going good, they go into another civil war or they get attacked by somebody else or whatever. And maybe that's the case again here, maybe not. But you also have to keep into account, again, that sequel trilogy that's coming up, just like Snoke has to come in and the First Order has to come in. The Mandalorians are not in the sequels at all. So either they're just hanging out on Mandalore doing their own thing and not involved because they don't care or whatever, or they're all dead. Or whatever happens with Thrawn puts them to a point where they can't help. Like there's not enough of them. They need to do their own thing. They need to just rebuild their own world, and they have zero care in the world about what's happening with the New Republic. But I mean, it could go any way. I hope we see all those Mandalorians fighting again, but they have been through quite a bit. Maybe they can take a day off.
I think we'll see him. I think we'll see the Mandalorians in Ahsoka. I honestly think that we're going to see Bo-Katan. I think that Katie will be back.
That'd be nice. I'd be
Yeah.
all for that. And one more planet on this map that did catch my eye right here is Mina Rao. So I seriously doubt, like, I'm 99% sure this won't happen, but it is very close to Dathomir. Mina Rao is the planet where Bix at the end of Andor Season 2 is with Cassian Andor's child. So for those crazy fanboy dreamers out there, if you want Cassian's child, who would at this time be around like 8 years old or something like that, around there, 8 to 10 years old, if you want Jason Syndulla to have a nice friend, right there on Mina Rao would be Cassian's son. But I seriously doubt that one. And then the Yavin base is right there actually too. So this the way I see it is Thrawn's gonna whoa, what the heck? The way I see it is Thrawn's gonna land on Dathomir, and just slowly over time it's gonna expand in like this big bubble where he takes over At-Aten, then the bubble grows, he takes over all those other planets, bubble grows, and then he takes over Wayland and Mandalore, and it just grows and grows and grows as he takes over the galaxy. I don't think he will get very far, but I think, honestly, the final battle, since the first battle is going to be on Dathomir, I think the final battle will be on Coruscant. All the way in the core, right here on Coruscant. And the reasoning for that is because Coruscant's not in the sequel trilogy. The main capital of the New Republic is no longer Coruscant, and the planet doesn't even appear in the movies. It's now Hosnian Prime, which is somewhere on here. Oh, right there. Hosnian Prime, right there. So they've moved all the way from Coruscant all the way down here to Hosnian Prime for the capital, and it would take a little bit of retconning because of the Aftermath trilogy, but not too much, if there was a big old battle on Coruscant with Thrawn versus the New Republic. And that would be a big reason as to why they move capitals. And Coruscant maybe becomes no longer the hub of the galaxy. But that's just my, again, fanboy dreaming. This is the sector of the galaxy that's going to be the most important, at least to start us off. So,
Yeah, that's true too. I think that's a good analogy for Coruscant, because I think that we, like you said, we don't see that at all. and Hosnian Prime is the main planet at this point. So there's a good possibility that when that war happens, it just destroys so much of that, which would be wow. I mean, now I'm getting goosebumps because I'm thinking about watching. Well, I'm thinking about watching Camino go down. You know, when that
Yep,
goes down in the Bad Batch, man, that's sad
it
because
is.
we've had it for so long. It's where all our at least cool, troopers were at when we found them in the Clone Wars and in this and in the prequels. So if Coruscant goes down, to watch like the Jedi Temple get destroyed or something like that, how crazy would that be?
It will be really, really cool. I mean, it's like you just said, though, the guy who's in charge of this, Dave Filoni, is the same guy who was in charge of that. Like, he's the same guy who's given us whenever a clone dies or we lose Camino. Like, it's such an emotional moment that if something like this were to happen with Mandalore, with Wayland, with Coruscant, it would feel like that. And like you said, you get goosebumps and it would feel so bad, but it
Yeah,
would be perfect. I mean, he's the guy who can do it. That's for sure. That's for damn sure.
yeah, yeah. That for me, for a theory now that we've talked about that, I think that's a very good possibility for that to happen. Um, just like Camino did, and you have him come in and destroy it, and yeah, that would be fantastic. Along. I mean, as much as I would hate to watch it go, and things like that, but it would be great for the story for sure.
Yeah. We are losing you a bit, Ron. You're lagging a little bit, but we'll hopefully that'll fix itself. Let's switch gears a little bit here because we did just talk about Ahsoka somehow for an hour and 15 minutes. I don't know how. But let's, again, final recap. Leaked photos, set photos, live action Dathomir, Asajj Ventress, maybe, Cal Kestis and Merrin, maybe, but big old battle on Dathomir confirmed by set leaks, concept art images, and all that great stuff. It's going to be it's going to be awesome. I almost said it's going to be a Subaru summer, but we don't get sponsored by Subaru. So, sorry. Ron is still frozen for me, but that's okay. He'll figure it out. Okay. So that's, Subaru summer. Good joke, Mike. Thank you, Chad. Okay. Let's sorry. Okay. Let's switch gears a little bit here to Maul Shadowlord. 60 days until Maul Shadowlord. So let's start here. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Maul Shadowlord? Tell me in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10. 60 days until this new show comes out. And we got some awesome merch drops, which give us, looks at different characters and characters' names and all that. But it also gives us a tease at what this show could give us. So let's take a look at this as we get closer and closer to Maul Shadowlord. Oh, we got Ron back. Oh, Ron, I can hear myself.
Damn it.
Okay, so new Star Wars Maul Shadowlord Funko Pops are now available for pre-order. Star Wars Maul Shadowlord is going to premiere its first 2 episodes on April 6th, 2026. The series will explore Maul's activities following the... Nope, that's not right. Following the events of Star Wars The Clone Wars. I don't know how they would follow the events of Rebels when Maul dies in it. Spoiler alert. I don't know how that would be possible. But focusing on his role as the Shadow Lord and his efforts of building a criminal empire in the galaxy's underworld on the planet, specifically of Janix. For fans who have followed Maul's journey from the Phantom Menace through the Clone Wars and through to Rebels, this series promises to fill in the gaps, about a 15-year gap in his story that we have right now. So let's take a look at these Funko Pops, shall we? Here you just got Maul, which is great. You got his first new lightsaber, because we're going to get his, Inquisitor saber that we see in Solo. Looks pretty badass here. Honestly, something weird going on with his outfit, no? Like, why is it so bluish? You seeing that too, Ron?
Yeah.
Isn't that odd?
Yeah. I
A
think
little.
can you hear me okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a bunch of different things in this series with Maul. I think we're going to get some new outfits. As we see him in the the tea ceremony. I mean,
Yeah.
who would have thought of that? I think that's a great. I think it's going to be a cool scene. But as we've seen in Rebels, he's a whole different person.
Yeah.
But underneath, he's still that evil psycho that wants to find Kenobi and thinks he can kill him, but obviously, as we know, he can't. So I think we're going to see a bunch of different things from this series, and I think that's why they're doing it. I think they're going to show us different sides of him in reference to this and how he can be a main character in this series. And I think we'll
Yeah.
see some different wardrobes. I think we'll see different, obviously I feel like just what we've seen, his lightsaber skills are just, off the chart,
Yeah.
which is so cool. So yeah, it'll be
Well,
interesting to see what we have for outfits.
yeah. My thing too is like he Maul can't die before Rebels, but he can lose. Like he's gonna lose his lightsaber. We know that because he has a new one by Solo. So he could really get hurt and lose a fight and lose his lightsaber and lose like he doesn't have to just win everything in this show. And by the way, the hype for this show in the chat is insane. A ton of 10s, got some 8s, whatever, a 6 and 9, of course. Yeah, but yeah, where are you at, Ron? On a scale of 1 to 10?
10.
10, 10. Love it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But continuing. So actually, can we get some good customer orders in the chat, please? Oh, we got hooded Maul. Okay. So we got Maul in the hood now. Again, under the hood, very bluish. And now the hood is black. So it's not like it could have been black before, and now it's not. But I love the hooded Maul, specifically in the trailer. This is when he's capturing Devon Izara. You can see her in the background in the trailer. It's really, really good. Oh my God, Ron just typed in the chat, good customer orders. There you go. But this is really, really cool. Hooded Maul. And he's only got the one. Oh, there's only one half of it here. It's disconnected. Interesting. Is he going to be able to disconnect his double-bladed lightsaber? That'd be really cool. But that's awesome right there. Oh, Icarus. Yeah, so this is our new character, I guess. He's in the trailer, but he's new to us. Icarus. Now, a Zabrak, of course, obviously, but a new character who comes from Dathomir, which we just talked about for a long, long time, and we are going to see at least 3 of them, 3 Night Brothers or whatever you want to call them, in this series. Now, Rod, do you think this means we're going to Dathomir, where Maul's going to recruit these guys? Like, in the Clone Wars, you see the Night Sisters, actually specifically Asajj Ventress, go to the Night Brothers' kingdom or whatever, their village, and take Savage, take him back to the Night Sisters, and then he becomes Savage Opress after some Night Sister magic, and then becomes, a Sith Lord kind of adjacent, an acolyte, if you will. But do you think Maul will go to that same village, his village, and go back home to Dathomir to get these people to come help him out?
I think it's a good possibility for sure because this is the Maul show, and we have 10 episodes where literally that could take a 2 minutes out of an episode to go over there, sort of land, figure out what's going on. Some other guys come up and some of the locals come to see him, or maybe he's been in communication with them and pick them up. I don't see I really don't see any other way how he would recruit them to be on his side
Well, somebody
without
just
going
said,
to Dathomir.
yeah, well, I agree with you until somebody just mentioned this in the chat. Maul could break them out of an Imperial prison, which I don't know why he'd be doing prison heists but maybe. I mean, that is another possibility. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But let's keep going. Okay, so that's Icarus. Again, got a badass minigun right there too, which is really cool. Then we got Rook Cast. Now, Rook Cast is a character coming back to us, a familiar face, and voiced by Vanessa Marshall, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So voiced by
Yes.
Vanessa Marshall, which is great. So Rook Cast in a very like new looking design here. Very purpley and red, of course, Mandalorian-esque, but very cool pop figure wise, and with the helmet on, because in the trailer at least she's got the helmet off from what we've seen. Rook Cast right there. Then we got some Inquisitors, which, by the way, they're calling this 11th brother, the one we see fight Ahsoka and get his head chopped off by Ahsoka in Tales of the Jedi. They're calling him the Crow. I mean, he looks like a bird, but that I haven't seen that before, so that's really, really cool. A little nickname, the Crow. He is the 11th brother, I believe, right? 11th brother? 11th brother, and he's the one who gets his head chopped off by Ahsoka Tano in Tales of the Jedi. So I assume he's going to survive the events of this show. Oh, wait, there wasn't one for the other guy? I thought there was another one for our other pal, but I guess not. So there's that. Oh, that was what it was. The other. Let me pull these up. Aha. These. We got these whatever you want to call them. The Kiner action figures. That was the word I was looking for. So here you got our boy Marok. I don't know his brother title. What do we know Marok's number or brother title? Yes, no, maybe. Somebody in the chat help us out there. You got Marok here. He is the guy who, again, is in Ahsoka Season 1 and turns to smoke, but this looks to be a living, breathing Marok. And he's the one in the trailer who tells Maul that the Emperor wants him dead. So, pretty badass. It comes with his lightsaber ignited like this and not ignited, which is pretty cool. And then we got our boy, the Crow, or the 11th brother, right here, which, I mean, looks so badass. It's such a cool design. I mean, the Inquisitors are such a cool concept in and of themselves. I'm rewatching Rebels right now, and as soon as they kill the Grand Inquisitor, 2 more show up, and the designs of the Inquisitors just keep getting cooler. It's like they don't have to be tied down to just Palpatine and Vader because of the rule of 2 when you have the Inquisitors. They're just Jedi hunters, and you can just keep giving us cool designs like this, because this guy was just introduced to us a couple years ago in Tales of the Jedi, where he died in his first appearance. But he's back. He's back. Again, this right here implies there's a bigger grand scheme of things happening behind the scenes. They introduced this guy in Tales of the Jedi, knowing that he'd be back, even though he just died. He'd be back for Maul Shadow Lord, which is so unbelievably cool. But, oh, I just got rid of Ron accidentally. There's that. Okay. Boom. Fixed it. So there's that. Then there was, I have one more thing for Maul Shadow. Let me see. Oh, we already looked at that. We looked at that. Okay, I guess, yeah, that was it, I guess. Let's switch gears then to the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So we got our trailer coming this week. In 3 days, we're getting a new Mando trailer. That's exciting. In 3 days, new Mando trailer. Hopefully we'll be getting some plot and everything. Did you see this, Ron? In Japan, I believe it was. Yeah, in Japan, they did this. Did you see this?
Ooh.
Oh. They did a Mandalorian and Grogu ice sculpture that is enormous. It's 10 feet. That's way bigger than 10 feet. These people are at least 5 feet tall, and this is at least double the size of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's, I mean, maybe 100 feet. I mean, no, maybe not that much, but still.
Yeah, that's way bigger than.
So there's a video of it coming to be. We can watch that in a second, but this is really, really cool. This is the stuff, like the marketing wise, this is what we're waiting for. Cool stuff like this And I think when the trailer drops on Sunday, the floodgates are going to be opened, and there's going to be a ton of marketing for this movie all the way up until its release in May.
See,
But-
this just,
Yeah,
I
go
was
ahead.
going to say, this just reinforces, I think, my $2 billion. When you have, did you say this was China or Japan?
Japan. Yeah.
You know, these people from all over the world are, I mean, that isn't easy to make. That wasn't,
No.
hey, let's throw this thing together for this
No,
stupid
no.
Star Wars movie.
Let's see if I can find the full
It's-
video while you talk.
Yeah, it's crazy how everybody around the world is so excited about this.
Yeah.
The whole Grogu thing is what's going to bring the non-Star Wars fans or the normie fans in. Obviously, all of us are going to go, but you have all of these different countries, psyched about this movie and making things like this, making this huge, thing for what? As an advertisement or whatever. So obviously people are waiting for this, and yeah, I think you're right. After this weekend, if this trailer drops, and I don't know if you've explained it yet like you did last night on what's going to happen, but and how it's going to drop. Wow, that's pretty cool.
They
Yeah.
brought out all this equipment and everything.
Yeah,
Like, this
I mean,
took,
how
this
much
took an
money
army.
did that cost
I
for
know.
all of those excavators and all that stuff
Hey, you
for
got like
this
50
movie?
people working on this thing.
Oh, at least.
Yeah, look at all those people coming in and out.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
That's pretty cool though.
That is so cool. I mean, this is like day 6 or 7, or this is talking weeks. This is taking weeks.
That's crazy.
I mean, talk about talent.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's
That's
so
pretty cool.
So there's that. But you're absolutely right. I didn't even think of that. Like, this is in Japan. The Star Wars, of course, has a worldwide appeal. But when you have promotion like this happening for your next movie in a different country than your, I guess, main country, which is where Lucasfilm is out of, the United States. But that's enormous. Like, this is going to be a very, very, very successful movie. And what could put it over the bump of $1 billion or $2 billion would be the overseas numbers, would be the outside of the United States, which, again, this is a great sign. It looks so cool. But that's just one little thing for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. In terms of the trailer itself, on Sunday, there will be a part of the trailer during the Super Bowl. And then at the end, I assume it will say see full trailer online now or whatever. So the full trailer will be released on YouTube, and part of the trailer will be released during the Super Bowl. So I assume around 6:30 to 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be getting that trailer on Sunday, the 8th, coming up this weekend. So full trailer will be on YouTube, or on all social medias, I assume. And then the partial trailer will be during the Super Bowl ad, too. And Ron is catching drinks. Love that.
No, I needed some more water. Sorry.
There you go. Hey, you want some of mine? I got a big-ass cup over here.
Yeah.
But
Cheers.
so that was for, cheers. The Mandalorian and Grogu. There was that. Oh, we never even talked about this. This was a long, long time ago, and I didn't even bring it up. So let's bring it up now. We were supposed to talk about this earlier on in the week, I think on Tuesday's stream or something like that. But Jason Momoa, a little off topic, and Dave Bautista sat down in an interview together, and when they were asked what franchise they would both want to join, they both said Star Wars, saying that they're both Star Wars nerds. They are both in Dune, which inspired Star Wars, but it wasn't enough for us. So these two legends, I mean, and somebody in the comments already did this. I mean, Jason Momoa as Quinlan Vos would be awesome. But these two legends, they both said they want to play villains, and of course Quinlan's not a villain, but it would be really, really cool to see them. I think like big Sith Lords, and by big I mean like ripped, jacked Sith Lords like a Darth Bane or something, Like that would be really, really cool to see the two of them play. If we're going Old Republic, I'd love that. But they did say villains, so I'll give them villains.
Yeah,
But
but
I
I
mean,
think I think it would be cool, like you said, for Quinlan Voss,
yeah,
because he sort of walks that line. So I think
yeah,
Jason would be cool with that. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
yeah,
he would be freaking perfect for that. And like you were just talking about the Old Republic, or even before then, Batista would be a freaking awesome Bane.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. Yeah. So you guys tell us in the chat who you think they would make great characters as in Star Wars, Sith Lords, Bounty Hunters, Jedi, whatever, or a specific character like a Quinlan Voss. You tell us in the chat, and let's get back to the Mandalorian and Grogu really quick because there is something else I got with that. Hang on, let me pull it
I just says Darth ripped.
up. Darth Rift. I like it. Sign me up. Uh, Yes, so this news just dropped today. We got 2 new Star Wars novels coming in the fall. One is a novelization of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, but interestingly enough, it's a junior novelization of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Now, I'm very interested to see what you guys think and what Ron thinks about this because I assume the Mandalorian and Grogu, of course, is going to have a young audience appeal. Grogu, of course, gotta love that little baby Grogu. Uh, you thought I'd say it, I wouldn't say it, but you gotta love the character. He's cute. He's everywhere. Look down. He's on your shirt right now. He's not on Ron's shirt, but he's on mine. So he's everywhere. I get it. There's a kid appeal, but if you're gonna make a novelization of the movie, a movie that clearly is going to be action packed. Hopefully, we'll have a big death scene, possibly Din Djarin, possibly somebody else. I don't know. To make a novelization of that movie and then call it a junior novelization sounds a little bit concerning. What do you think, Ron?
I I I do. I do. It does sound concerning, but I will say, right now I'm still reading a couple different ones, but Rebel Rising,
Yeah,
um, which is I'm pretty sure it's a junior novel as well, but it's pretty good. I mean, it's thick. It's pretty big, and it's not it's not the huge words or anything like that. It's still a good book. Um, but for me, anything that they give us, I'm gonna look at. I mean, unless it's a little paperback book that's got words this big on it. But I think that we're gonna get a little bit more of the in-depth stuff. Maybe it is a little bit more youth oriented, but just like with the other novelizations, you get to read about what some of these characters are thinking in their mind
yeah,
that we don't get to see in the books. So I think that that's a big thing that that I like about these books, where we can get more information on some of these characters and what some of these other people, maybe the Shadow Council. Well, I think they'll, eventually be able to find out what some of these guys are thinking and things like that. So I think that'll be cool with it. As much as I'd love to see a novelization from, like, a Timothy Zahn or a James Luceno or something like that, but I think this will still be a cool thing that'll give us a little bit more behind the scenes of of the actual movie, not like the creation of it or anything, but behind the scenes of what people are thinking in different things like that. So it'll still be good, but yeah, it's a little disappointing that it is a youth novelization.
yeah. We you froze again, Ron, but you're good. No. So I agree with you, and somebody even pointed it out in the chat too. Like junior novels, they're not kids' books. They're made for teens and adults. But to your point, I mean, I guess this movie is geared towards teens and adults. Uh, yeah, it's that side of things. That it's just a concerning word to put there for no reason at all. If it's a novelization of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, then just make it a novelization of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. It doesn't have to be a junior novelization. Now, maybe that doesn't mean it's geared towards little kids at all. It's just junior. Like it's a smaller book. But you also have this horror themed one that was announced too. It's not related to the Mandalorian and Grogu, but it says horror themed middle grade novel that's set to release in the fall too. Now this, I actually think, well, we'll speculate about it in a second. So this is where it comes from. Mandalorian and Grogu Junior novelization from Random House comes out November 17th, so way later in the year. The synopsis: a novelization and retelling of the Star Wars film The Mandalorian and Grogu, and it includes 8 pages of full color images. So maybe it is sort of like a behind the scenes type, add a little bit of information, whatever type deal. But once a lone bounty hunter, Mandalorian Din Djarin and his apprentice Grogu embark on an exciting new Star Wars adventure. This junior novel, which includes 8 pages of full color images, retells The Mandalorian and Grogu, directed by Jon Favreau, and is sure to thrill fans of all ages. So there you go. All ages. Not just young and not just old. Interestingly, we still don't know if there will be an adult novelization for The Mandalorian and Grogu. Maybe they'll do both. It seems likely, but clearly Lucasfilm is already banking on the film being popular with the youths, the youngins, the younglings, if you will. But let's talk about this next one for a second here, because I think this could be a little interesting. So, the horror-themed middle grade novel is likely to be the next publication in the genre-based initiative following the Star Wars romance novel Eyes Like Stars. Okay, maybe not. I was going to say that this book, let's see, venture beyond the dark side in this chilling horror-themed place based in the Star Wars galaxy. Haunted by an evil presence, a young girl tries to solve... okay, never mind. I was going to say, oh, wait. Is her boogeyman a Sith or something darker? Fascinating. That would be kind of crazy. My thought was Abeloth, because this is going to come out, when did it say? September 1st. Could be in connection to Ahsoka Season 2, which would be kind of interesting to me. I would like that quite a bit if we got that, but I mean, something darker than a Sith would be Abeloth, that's for sure. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. So there you have it. The junior novelization when it comes to The Mandalorian and Grogu. But let's... This is sort of what I was hoping for, you know? Like, scary, spooky, scary. Abeloth would be nice, but yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Ron?
Can you guys hear me again?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
I was just saying, like, could a horror-themed book be geared towards Ahsoka Season 2 and geared towards Abeloth because they're talking about a Sith, but not a Sith, darker than a Sith?
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I think you've talked about this before. I'm not a huge fan of the horror
Yeah.
coming into Star Wars. I think the one book, is it Death Troopers,
Yeah.
or
Both of them,
that
yeah.
could, yeah, that could be something cool. But yeah, I think with Abeloth coming out, she is going to be a pretty badass bad guy.
Scary,
And
too.
like I've compared them before, but Thor's sister, when she comes into the movie, I mean, she's just destruction all over the place. And I think that that's what's going to happen with Abeloth. And I think, like you've said before, we're also going to see Ahsoka possibly turn into the sister to sort of stay there and control her, because she is such a powerful person, and the destruction and the different things that she could bring to the Star Wars universe in a horror book, I think would definitely be more up the Abeloth path, because as we've seen before, some of the pictures of her are pretty scary looking.
Yeah, very scary looking. So I would love to see, because even if Abeloth gets contained in Ahsoka Season 2 and you're not going to really use her as a villain in the future, or maybe beyond the sequels, but not in the near future, you can tell prequel stories to her and tell her, like, coming to be and all that, all great stuff. Like, you can write books and comics and explore her story elsewhere, which would be great.
Yeah, for sure. And that's going to be the fun thing when we get to see, as we've talked about Thrawn and all that, but we have two stories going on in Ahsoka season 2, which is I think is pretty cool. I mean, two major stories are going
Yeah.
on in this because you're going to have Ahsoka and Sabine, Balin and Shin over here trying to fight probably Abeloth, we're hoping. And then you
Yeah.
have, the regular galaxy, which is going to be Thrawn and everybody else. So Ahsoka season 2 is definitely going to be a big powerhouse, and we're going to get a lot of different things for this year in reference to that. So with that book, definitely could be and it's coming out in the fall. Is that when's the
Yep.
release date?
September 1st.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll have Ahsoka by then, and then we'll see, and then we'll get and again, if this book is about that, that would be fantastic because it would be a cool way to again get more information about Abeloth that we'll probably get in a novelization. So
Yeah.
that Batista thing's pretty good.
Yeah, so I just saw this when I looked over on the X, and that's I mean, if he doesn't play if he does play somebody in the Old Republic, Malagus is clearly a great choice. I mean, he looks perfect for this role. But
Yeah.
a Sith Lord, nonetheless, would be great for him. Oh, whoops, got rid of Ron. There he is. But yeah, so there's that. All right. Well, I think we got to everything I wanted to talk about. Let me see. Double check. Yeah, I mean, we talked about Ahsoka season 2 in those leaks for a long time. And we talked about Mandalorian and Grogu. We were ready for that trailer in 3 days. And Maul, Shadow Lord. So, all I know is it's going to be quite the year for Star Wars fans. These Ahsoka season 2 leaks just keep on coming. We are 60 days away now from Maul, Shadow Lord on April 6th. And the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is right around the corner after that. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun one. But before we get on out of here, first of all, smash a freaking like in the stream. But also, if you are not yet already, go subscribe to Star Wars Jedi Chat Podcast. Don't miss out on their amazing live streams every single Wednesday night and all the other great content that they have. Interviews with actors and writers and people just in general who work on Star Wars and are in Star Wars and all that. So, Ron, you can give your spiel on all that greatness, but don't be stupid, be smart, and go subscribe to Star Wars Chat Podcast.
Hopefully you can still hear me and see me. I see I'm freezing a little bit right now, but yeah, no, thanks, Mike, for having me on here. I have a blast. And when you come on ours, it's awesome. We get to just sit here and talk about Star Wars. And everybody in the chat today, I appreciate the love. Hopefully you guys have come to the chat and checked it out. And yeah, every Wednesday. And I think I'm frozen again.
No, your face may be frozen a little bit, but we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, good. So thank you everybody for all the love, and Mike, thanks for giving me a shout. As long as I can come on here and you need me, I'll be here. So
There you go.
yeah, and this is going to be a good weekend if we get this trailer. You'll be talking, I'm sure, Saturday about hopefully some more information. Maybe we'll get some more information Saturday before the game on Sunday. So
Okay, awesome, fantastic. Go subscribe. Fearless, what are you talking about? A Purgle? Is there a Purgle in that set photo? Are you seeing something? Mike, there is a Purgle on that set photo. Hang on. Where? Am I missing something here? Or is Fearless crazy? Maybe in the top right you're talking about? I don't think so.
I don't see one.
I don't see one either. I mean, that would be awesome, but I doubt it. Thrawn must have like nightmares of the Purgle after he took him away.
Yeah.
It looks like a Purgle to me, LOL. Okay, well, that's okay. But with that, oh, sorry, just got rid of Ron again. With that, smash a freaking like in this stream if you have not already. hit that subscribe to here and to Star Wars Jedi Chat podcast if you have not already. And yeah, may the Force be with you. Always. My God, Chopper, the amount of anger I feel towards you right now. Chopper, we've talked about this now for 2 weeks. Fix the hyperspace or I'm kicking you out of the background. How about that? Yeah. No. It's gone too far. It's gone too far. Okay. All right. If you have not already, smash a freaking like in this stream. Hit that subscribe, of course, all that fun stuff. What a great stream. What a great show. Finally, my voice is coming back a little bit, but still was great to have Ron help me out for when, my voice was horrible today. So I appreciate it. Appreciate Ron. Appreciate you guys for being here. Hope you have a great rest of your evening. Great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody. Oh, wait, I didn't end this poll. Hang on, wait a second. End this poll. Do you think Asajj Ventress will be in Ahsoka Season 2? 51% of you say yes. 49% say no. One of the closest polls we've had in a really long time with almost 90 votes on it. Good night, everybody.